We're live. All right, so we are live on YouTube, everyone. We stream. Hello, this is the ExO Economy Core call. If you're watching from YouTube land now or in the future, we do this for you so that you can participate in these calls, even though you might not be in the live session. You can use the chat to ask questions. We will monitor the chat throughout the meeting and do our very best to answer those questions if they exist live toward the latter third of the meeting, usually, unless it's just something really awesome that we want to talk about or directly at somebody who's giving an update. The purpose of this meeting is to make sure that each and every week we detect and plan and do things that move the EXO economy forward. And we've seen a lot of that lately, so it's been fantastic. But that's the goal of these meetings. So we give brief project updates, then we ask if anybody needs anything. And if they need it, we try to figure out a next step at the very least, even if we don't solve and resolve the issue on the call. That way we move forward. That's how these meetings work. Couldn't be any more simple. And so I think I'm just gonna start passing right around to the team to start giving their updates today. So as is customary, we will start with project and marketing. So we'll do Eric, Nikki today, and then we'll go over to Kevin and Yaroslav for the first four. And then Yaroslav, you can think long about who you want to pick after you.
I will do that.
Thanks, Kent. Good to see everybody. And I'd like to welcome Pratik, who's joining us today, as part of the Open EXL Core Treasury team, consisting of myself and Cesar, Vanessa, Gerardo, and Kevin. We'd like to kind of share the wealth a little bit. And so part of that involves a rotation, right? So it's not always going to be the five of us. Some of us may kind of come and go. So we've invited Pratik and two others actually who have expressed interest in serving as part of the Core Treasury to join not only our Tuesday Core team member meetings, but also the Treasury meetings, which are on Thursdays, which are a little bit shorter. So welcome, Pratik. Thanks for joining. And Treasury-wise, it's been fairly quiet. We're still obviously monitoring a lot of proposals in Sway. And as soon as that happens, the Treasury has really kind of nailed down our process on how we actually get these projects funded, as part of a huge grant of Exos that the Treasury has had really for many months now. And as we've been talking about, with all the projects in Sway that have been funded and successfully been ongoing, the balance will need to be replaced. So part of that involves obviously refunding the Treasury, potentially changing a wallet, all that. We'd like to do that in conjunction with any kind of new core Treasury members that come on board. So we'll be talking about that, hopefully getting that resolved shortly. And then just going back from an overall project perspective, I think as you all know, we've been talking about this now for some time, bringing the Exos to market. Super exciting. We announced earlier this summer the exchange that we will be on. And the teams have been working pretty diligently to make some progress, to do what we need to do with the Ethereum bridge and other things, working with people literally from around the globe as well. And you'll get more detailed updates in a moment from Nikki and Najib and others. So I just wanted to thank the team for their efforts. Part of my role obviously involves kind of coordinating, communicating, making sure there aren't any major roadblocks, following up with people, and ensuring that, the teams are doing what we need to do as we are looking to bring the Exos token to market very soon. So with that, that's all I've got, I think, on my end. Looking forward, of course, to some of the events going to be happening next week and this fall, which Nikki will get into momentarily. So, Nikki.
Right, thank you. We've got, well, regarding the Treasury, let me just address that first. We do need to rebalance because we've got some quarterly roles that need, fulfilling. So we want to make sure that that happens before October 1st. And that's as much as I'm going to say there. We've had discussions otherwise. We've got some economy writers sort of queued up. Hopefully they'll start writing. With writers, sometimes they're creatives. They don't necessarily produce on the business level on a weekly basis, but when the creative flare happens, they write in batches, and then all of a sudden we'll have plenty. So hopefully we'll get those published fairly soon. We landed our town hall speaker for the town hall number 9, and that's this Tuesday, the 31st of August. And that basically is going to be the same time as before. We had 8 sequentials back in the spring. And this particular speaker is an interesting character because he kind of crosses over to multiple projects within the economy and the system. So in addition to the 30 doubling challenge results, we're going to be introducing at the town hall and then doing full session work on the festival, which is in October. Probably do some promotion around it with the book launch in September as well. So we'll have sequential monthly events sort of growing these projects from concept to launch. And then in November, we've got the Global Entrepreneur Week, which is associated with a much bigger crowd. And we'll also be demonstrating and doing session work on that. So the session work is going to be done on demoing the Exos Academy. We basically have our first demo in place. I'm sort of tweaking the last bits of the video, and that'll just show people how they can come into the community, utilize our platform, and either stay there or spin off and launch on their own. But it's an education platform that allows for products and services to be brought to the market under your brand and bought and sold. And there's international languages, there's shipping calculations for international function, and we're going to bring the tokenization to that platform as well. We'll also do the feature of some of the sway proposal winners and sort of start them in their mode of how they've come the path and launched. And 2 of those projects are going to be featuring the Exo Skeleton Roadshow, which is a spinoff of the Futureville project with Angela. And basically the Exo Skeleton is taking this speaker from our town hall, featuring him in an augmented mobility task. And so what we're going to do is have a competition and have sponsorships come in and support us getting an exoskeleton to this gentleman, and so that he can be mobile. He's a paraplegic and in a wheelchair. And so what we're going to do is take this roadshow out and show people how they can take exoskeletons and all the paraphernalia that goes along with it to steady and augment human mobility. Aside from that, we're going to do a next gen economy podcast, and that's going to be taking youth and young adults and what they think of what it is to be in a tokenized society, and maybe bring some new ideation to the decentralization of finance, because DeFi is complex and can be very simple. And so we're trying to take it from the standpoint of youth that don't have the old systems in their immune system, and just kind of be creative and see what comes from that. And then we'll do a competition around that as well. We also are featuring speakers, pre-recorded and live sessions throughout these monthly events. So August, September, October, November. And we invite people to submit their talent and what it is to be in an exo economy and how that works for you in real life. And then we'll be doing some reevaluation of the liquidity pool for the Uniswap exchange. And we basically will be having meetings this week. I definitely have a meeting on Friday with somebody, and we're going to basically talk about how to map that out for the public eye and bring people into more awareness of what that means and how they can participate. And welcome, Pratik. I appreciate your being here. Welcome back. I want to know more about your project too, because we were in Sway for a while. So that's an interesting one too. So that's it for me. Over to Kevin.
Awesome. Thanks, Nikki. On my side, there's obviously a few things. One is really a drive towards more driving more EXO services, and then looking to add Exos into the compensation once we have those services running through the marketplace. So really looking to drive a sort of 80-20 type of arrangement, dollars to Exos, and hopefully as we get more liquidity, etc., we can then start upping the Exos and really drive more the utility. So so people are seeing that utility within the marketplace. as I have mentioned before, we are. I'm working quite closely with the team from Canoe, which is going to be EXO Builder, to really bring them in, make sure that they have all that they need, so that we can really start driving that angle, and obviously also looking at how we can embrace Exos, especially with potential cohorts of venture builders that happen around the world, looking at how we can utilize Exos. The next thing is probably about a month ago, I had a sway proposal that was approved for EXO related imagery from the community, and I have unfortunately not been super successful with getting people to share that. Most people are not I guess super comfortable with being with their photography skills or whatever the case may be. And so I am now thinking about how we could look at utilizing that in a different way. The aim there was to use Exos to drive, marketing ideas within and outside of the community. And so looking to perhaps do that through ideas for video content, as we want to really start to drive the narrative of how exponential transformation or exponential digital transformation is what organizations need versus the linear digital transformation that many organizations are out there doing. Of course, digital transformation sits in the top 5 sort of what's on the top of the minds of boards and CEOs, etc. If you read, all these reports that come out from many different organizations, and so being able to take that angle, I think is quite smart, and that allows us to, of course, drive more utility into the marketplace, which allows us to drive more utility into the Exos token. And so that's the aim there. And I think that's everything from me for now. There's many other things, but not necessarily also closely related to the economy. So I guess it is, who's next, Jaroslav?
Great, thank you, Kevin. What is this Exo Skeleton? That sounds interesting. So from my side, for the training and certification, besides kind of ongoing running of our programs, webinars, and everything that is happening as usual, we are actually planning some exciting things for the autumn. So the first one is that we are launching together with our marketing team. They've produced a course called Marketing Foundations. They have just under 10 people sign up already for the first edition, and it's going to be launched in September. So it's going to be very exciting, kind of a self-paced course on digital marketing. And I can't wait to see that. I think it's going to be very exciting. I think they have about 8 people registered so far, more people are registering, and I think about half of them have paid in Exos. So that course is also taking Exos, just like all of our courses. That's great. Can you have a question?
Can you give a link to the course landing that we can share?
Yeah. Later on in the call. I need to get the link.
Okay. Yeah, no worries.
But yeah. And then one thing that is very exciting is that we are preparing kind of a full suite of courses for entrepreneurs who want to build exponential organizations, and that's going to be super exciting. I won't say much more about it now, just to keep some surprise kind of in there, but it's coming in the autumn, and it's going to be super amazing kind of set of courses at all kind of different levels and prices and all that kind of stuff. So that is very exciting. And we are
Also all accepting Exos, is that right? Yeah. Sorry to interrupt you.
Definitely, just like all of our courses. And
Yay
then,
for utility. Yeah. Okay.
and then we have recently closed a partnership, kind of a renewed partnership with a company called Growth Institute. And we are designing together also a very unique special course actually for business leaders, for people inside companies that are considering on running an EXO sprint. And it's going to be kind of a full suite of preparatory kind of content, exercises, information, and everything to get them fully ready to run sprints in their companies. So that's going to be super exciting. Again, more to come. And Ken, yes, I think that also will be payable in Exos, just like all of the other
That's
courses.
true,
So,
I know, yes.
So we are gearing up to some kind of creative autumn, which is very exciting to complement kind of our regular courses as they are running. There is a few more things in there, but these are still being discussed, so I'll mention them some other time. But very excited about these kind of new movements and new courses. Just continue serving our community and providing some tools and education that they can go through that. So that's I think all from my side, and I would hand over to Vanessa.
Thank you, Jaroslav. Good morning, everybody. I have our stats for the past week. Our followers keep growing slowly but surely. I've been sharing everything about our event at the end of this month, and all the EXO insights and those amazing videos from Kent on things you should know.
Thank you. I'm not running around advertising those, but it's an experiment that I'm running. Really appreciate that, Vanessa. Thank you.
They're very interesting. So, and related to the purpose of our economy. So, like, I like to share those. So, any suggestions, please feel free to communicate with me. Anything that I can assist you with. Any projects that you want me to share on the channels, just please let me know. I'm here to keep promoting all of us, all our community. And that is all that I got for this week. Let's go to Angelo.
Well, first, I've been working with different projects with Nikki, also with Eric, and also with Najib. Internally, we are trying to set up the next stage. Also, I would like to put on the table the idea of usability that Kevin said. We will be discussing with the team on the Friday meeting about how we can bring common people for common services, and common people for using the Exos for specific micro tasks, such as make a logo, such as build something, or like a web page, And Rutanio, they are providing these kind of services, and I think we can bring people from all over the world, especially all of the like-minded people inside the marketplace. And I don't know how we can do that, but my suggestion is common service will give us better chances for the usability context, right? And that will bring us also the chance to interact with the token in different ways. I also I suggest if all of you are part of the network, put like on the thing that Vanessa is sharing, and also reshare, but that will bring us more people inside the community. And yeah, and what else? Yeah, we're still working on the academy concept the learn and earn concept that we're looking for the economy, and also bringing more ideas for how we can be self-sustainable in different ways. But it's everything in working process. That's all from my side. I will jump to Lisa.
Hi, everyone. So a lot of stuff's happening with the book. We're getting close. Exponential organizations, for some of you who don't know, it's being updated. book is being co-authored with Salim, Peter Diamandis, and Mike Malone, and also curated by over 90 Open EXO community members. We ended up with over 900 pages of good content. So publishers suggested we break the book up into 3 parts, sort of like an EXO library. The first book was going to feature a look at how our world has changed due to COVID, along with a chapter on each of the attributes and more in-depth chapter on MTP and moonshots. Second book will be about how to implement the model. And the third will be about government, civilizations, and looking forward. The book's coming out this fall. We had a lot of progress last week. Give you another update next week about the book. So it's moving along. EXO Insights, for some of you don't know, platform to amplify the voices of the community. So we're always looking for more writers and readers. So I'm onboarding some more writers this week and hopefully see more of their voices online. Readership and subscriptions are growing, and I'll have numbers next week. So I'll put a link in to sign up and to subscribe to become a writer on the chat. And Najib.
Thank you, Lisa. I think Eric, has been updating us about the job in progress. While it is looking quite complete. First, thanks a lot to all of you, Nikki, Kevin, and Angelo, to at least to be agreement in the information that we have been working these past days to make it easy for everyone. That is, I know it sounds trivial, those tip tools, but I know that it has been quite a challenge for you guys to be in agreement on a test. Thanks a lot to be in agreement after a few rounds. I think the idea for this one is to be very, that no one need to contact anyone else with these tip tools, with the information that it goes wrong here, that we are trying to make it bulletproof, that they basically just go through all of these tip tools that we have all over the wallet, and that they are able to just to figure it out without to further instructions. One thing that is pending, all of this one, I think in the last update, they were there, but they were not visible. Right now, we make it very visible, but it's pending, especially these two in terms of content, the risk document and the associated terms and conditions. That's very much content that I don't know who will be providing that. I don't know if it's either Nikki, you can coordinate that, Eric, or Scan. But these ones, this one will open short links. That's and we don't need to change the wallet. But the content of those two documents, and especially this one that is more into the legal area, is very important to have it. We are still pending for the Ether that is pending for the to deploy the contracts and make the contracts to work on the mainnet. So far right now, the EIP 1559 that it was on August 4, that it was the for London, is working properly. We already been testing that part, that it was our concern. But right now we implemented a few weeks later that part, and it's working well. We already test our contract in one additional functionality that we ended implemented. Usually most people are able to burn tokens in any ecosystem. On this one, knowing that it's a bridge, we extend the functionality for people not to be able to burn, not even your own token. That's saying we don't create a balance with the gateway. The only one that is will be able to burn token will be only the gateway. That was something that we got to extend. It is not usual, that functionality, but in our case, it's very important to have it. We already test that functionality only to be extended to the people that, the ownership of the contract can extend that functionality to any of the other people or the contract or the gateway. In this case, the gateway will have that functionality, mint and burn tokens. That is so far then. It is, I think, I don't know, I think Eric is coordinating that part, is spending some information for the dashboard portal in terms of the look and feel, some images and some links, and we are closer and closer. I think maybe Ken could update us. I don't know, I missed the first 5 minutes about what is the progress to the Ether for the mainnet, and that's so far from my side.
I can do that one really quick if you want. just a direct answer. We finally got the account set up that we needed to do the transfer. So that means we can, it just took a lot. The KYC AML process took forever. It was quite thorough. So we will be able to get some ETH over your way, Najib, quite soon.
That's great.
Yeah,
Awesome.
Sorry it's taken so long. It was all KYC AML. So. And we actually ended up applying to 3 accounts just in case something goes weird with one. So we'll end up having a way to deal with that. So, okay.
Thank you.
Najib, what are the next steps with the gateway? Is something that Exo Economy, control already when they are going to be able to control it?
It's a good point. I had been in this from Friday in contact with Chris, and that's and we can just be more coordinated in that aspect because we want to do to fill the experience up to the liquidity pool. Remember, we are doing the gateway, means we are converting Exos to Exos, but the idea is to go to the liquidity pool, the extra step. From his side, we are, I think today we are just sharing some information regarding the contract that he can test, but he's asking Nikki for some information regarding an image or something that we need to send. And he's asking for you, Ken and Eric, about some rewards and some staking for the liquidity pool. And that's something that is pending. And I just want to be that we are, because it looks like we are disaligning what is missing, and then we are start to juggle, and we are ready to at least to have a full experience on the test net, but up to the end. And another one that, hey, we can do right now up to Exos to Exos, but the experience should not end there. The experience is for the user to go up to the other end, and even if you don't control to the Uniswap. Yes.
Yeah. Look, what he's asking about is the staking yield. So he wants to know, if you stake your Exos, what do you get, right? Just the same way we stake Exos. And so that's the big thing that he's been asking. And it's actually not the simplest question in the world. So this is something that I have had a little bit of challenge with, and I don't want to get into all the particulars of it at the moment, but we do need to get him an answer. It's on us. We need to answer that question, and totally get it. And Eric, to his credit, has been hassling me sufficiently and correctly, Eric. And I know I've not been as available lately. There's been a lot.
Is the amount and for which period? Because usually it's for a period of time. They say that usually it's 1 year, but it could be less or more, whatever. But he's right. We cannot just keep him because he's waiting. Then the ball is on our side.
Okay. Yeah. It's complicated because the market constantly changes and APYs constantly change. So what do you want to set your annual return to properly incentivize people to be able to generate those staking rewards, right? And balance that out against how many, anyway, I don't want to.
But everybody who does a liquidity pool has to decide that, no, Ken? So it's no.
Yes, they do.
So, and there is liquidity pools every day, or at least every week. So I think we just need to put a time frame and decide when is that done, and then we have like a timetable for everybody.
We are like them learning, I equally that whatever number that we are gonna say, I don't like everything. It's not gonna be the right or the wrong. It's our number, and well, hard.
If you make it too low, people won't stake. If you make it too high, then you might create economic problems. So it's an important decision, and I would rather, honestly, I'd rather make it too low at the beginning, and then if we, but that's tricky too, because if people know you make it low and then you're just gonna raise it later, I mean, you just can't. It's very tricky. So, anyways, Cesar, you're right, but at the same time, this is one of those areas where we need to be careful, and we need to seek the advice of our advisors and get that input as well.
Yeah, that's on that, and Nikki on your side. I don't know, is in your side, on your team, or who else? That thing that is an image or something that he can just saying, and some links, because we have some links at the bottom of the liquidity pool webpage that we need to ask him. He has dummy links, but they are like, what is the medium page for the opening? So what is, all of those are very simple, but we need to give it to him, and he's right. You know, we need to feel that. We are doing the hard part, guys. We don't let it, we need to do the easy ones too. You know, that's the message here.
Yeah, the image is easy. The terms and conditions, not so much, but
yes,
we will get to that.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, but my point here, there, I agree, is the terms and condition is always the one that we let for the last one, and it's one of the most important. And everyone except the client, it doesn't want to deal with that, but everyone that is in front, they always want that as the first. Then I say no, and no one want to take that one, by the way. Unfortunately,
I'm the fall guy on that.
Okay.
Eric, but I think all this is just project management. You know, let's make all that in a list, in a Gantt table with responsible timing, and let's make it happen, because otherwise we are going to pass over the autumn and we are not going to have that decided.
Yeah.
It's, you know, as Najib say, all the development work that was new, is done now. So all these other things should have been running in parallel. They are not, but now we need to put a time, a responsible, and share with the community when things are going to be done.
Yeah, I agree. And we are thinking about de-risking and making sure we protect our community as well. But I totally understand, and I want to do it too right now. But we have to do it responsibly.
Yeah, we hear you say so. We're on it.
Yeah.
Who's next?
Cesar, then. You're.
Yeah, from my side, I want to take from what Angelo mentioned first. Remember that we have Exos also available in the Rutanio marketplace, and there have been many transactions with Exos there, as people from Rutanio has been also using Exos for training and some other services in the Exo platform. But it's, as Angelo was saying, is many people they already doing websites, already doing logos with Exos. So that utility is there, and absolutely it can be improved. Absolutely it can be complemented with things in the Exo platform. But I just want to highlight that is there. And also maybe an update, and Najib, if you want to say something else on this, please feel free to jump. Najib and the team has been working on the Dockerization of that marketplace. What it means is that the local developers and developers from around the world are going to be able to work more independently in different features of that platform. So that platform should be able to start getting more feature and better experience in the near future. So I think that's kind of an update for everybody, but it's also, you know, good news in case more use cases from Exos wants to be implemented into the sister economy marketplace. So I don't know, Najib, if you want to say something on that, or?
No, you expressed it well. You know, the idea for the Dockerization and developers would be more exposed to Docker is that everyone could be duplicated with not that much effort. The effort that is on the mainnet or that is published means, in this case, the marketplace. And at the same time, this is always the incentive for any developer. The sooner that they are able to duplicate, they are more willing to help into the project itself. And that's the purpose for that.
And maybe the other thing to say about Rutanio this week is that the Tech Talk series for the second year anniversary keep going. So the team has been actively working on that. And this week they have a great event with a couple of entrepreneurs from Argentina, Consuelo Chasing and Ina Bianco. They are going to highlight Unlimited Powerful Woman. Is a conversation with these two women in a panel that is being led for an ExO coach, Olga Calvache. So that's happening on Thursday on the 26th, 17 hours of Colombia, 18 hours Colombia and Mexico, and 18 hours of Miami, Chile. So just to keep you posted on that. That's all from my side.
Jill, did you go?
Yeah, it's only one person, Jill. But she's gone. Oh no, but
She lost her mute button.
I did. Sorry, I actually
Her
just
baby.
lost.
Did your baby steal your mute button?
No, I lost the whole of the Zoom. It was on the side of my screen. I've battled with a little bit of the app this week with the badges. They've just not worked, but it looks like I'm getting it right. So hopefully by the end of tonight, it will be ready to go.
Yeah, welcome to being a
Thanks.
developer. Who knew? Yeah, that's
so,
awesome.
But that's my only update.
Okay, that's great. All right. Well, I think that's pretty good for today. Are there any outstanding needs? Can be announcements, can be you're stuck on something, things we haven't necessarily already talked about. Anything else anybody needs today? Do they want to move forward? Need the team's help or the community's help? Pratik? Oh, Pratik, you're so quiet over there. You got to speak up, man. Sometimes you can get lost in the shuffle. Pratik needs his turn. Go.
I was actually listening to all of you guys, and the updates were really epic, very motivating. So I have a few points to add. Since the time I've joined the community, there have been a lot of growth from my end, like because of the process that I've learned from EXO. We have got like 6 partners now, like 3 incubators and 1 design company, 1 legal company, and Amity University, which is an institution in India, mainly providing us student partners for research and development from industrial psychology department. So my key take was here that could I go ahead and show them our awake sessions, and because we have 2 hours of work slot, and in the weekends we are wanting to take them through training and sessions for mainly concepts and their concepts and things they want to do with the concepts in a real-time market scenario. And I think the foundation course is the epic thing that they should be following up with, and I want to market this big time.
Yeah, we've got programs for that. You should coordinate with Yaroslav on that side, and there's ways that we can help you through EXO Media. There's all kinds of opportunities, Pratik. So maybe I'll say a word on this because you kind of gave me a little sec. I didn't think to originally, but there are a number of courses, and if we set you up right, and there are some things you have to do and some steps and stuff to go through, of course, but once we get you set up right, you can have the opportunity to offer regional courses regionally, even if you're capable and translated in local languages, things like that. And for example, foundations, if somebody on your side wants to translate foundations, then we'll get that on the website. Either the next one or the most recent one. I'm sorry, I haven't looked at the certifications page here, so I don't know if Chinese launched, but Chinese is on its way. All right, well, go poke somebody on that. That was supposed to be last week, so it could be because part of the team's on PTO. But the opportunities are huge. And then once you kind of lock down on delivering that training, that starts to open up opportunity for solutions. They tend to one follow the other. And because your students and your training classes are going to want to do things that they just learned about, right? And so we have all of that, right? So then you'll come and you'll connect with me or with Kevin, who's helping out greatly these days at EXO Solutions, and we'll be able to look at even further formalization of delivery. And that creates economic opportunities for the region, for the core, for Exos, and of course, it creates growth for the actual folks who go through EXO Solutions programs. And then all of that, we've set up EXO Media to amplify the voices of OpenEXO. well, you are one of those voices, as would be all of the students and partners and everything. So we want to hear from you. Lisa is here on the call and is the senior editor at EXO Insight, for example. Kevin, myself, the marketing operations team doesn't join this call, but they handle all of our video production. Are you doing local interviews? I just got a big submission from the Middle East region yesterday of some fantastic interviews that we're going to be putting on a regional branded video hub for deployment to their websites. You see, I mean, the opportunities here have become quite substantial through EXO Solutions, EXO Media, and EXO Training. Those are the three things I just went over. And I do think leading with building up a group, starting to meet regularly, and then getting foundations into everybody's hands it's like kind of the best kind of gateway, because it's little friction, very little friction there. So with all that said, I have what I think is going to be some pretty exciting news over the next couple of months about some things that are going on with the EXO Solutions in various regions. I'm quite excited about it. It's just a bit too early to throw it all out there on a YouTube broadcast. But if you want to continue that discussion and start to look at your group as a regional EXO hub, probably is the word I'm going to use. I'm still even playing with the vocabulary, but this is super exciting. And all of this is how exponentials work, right? Imagine the curve, like it's long time, it's really flat, right? It's just like, is anything happening? Is anything going on there? And then all of a sudden it kicks, and we're nearing that sort of curve in a variety of ways. I can sort of feel it and see it. It's also why I'm a bit tired, because there's a lot going on, but at the same time, you're asking the exact right questions, and this is awesome. So, congratulations on the early success. We're very committed to helping you grow that success overall. And when I say we, by the way, I do mean OpenEXO Inc., Media, Training, and Solutions, but you have to understand that that's a public benefit corporation. Who's the public that I'm talking about? It's all of us, right? So, it's when I say we, it's quite the royal we. It's like 8,200 people. So I think I can say that. And that's for me just crazy. I mean, there's someday when we travel again, you'll enjoy it very much, because everywhere you go, you'll meet people that are in this network, and it's super cool. So anyway, very exciting stuff. So hope that helps, Pratik, and you can reach out to me, to Kevin, to Yaroslav, and to Elisa. Again, just as a reminder, Lisa, EXO Media, Senior Editor Insights. Kevin and me would be EXO Media Video on Demand. If you want to start doing some video production work, we can talk about that. Yaroslav is handling EXO Training. And of course, on the market, you're in the economy call, right? So,
I was more thinking like, we have kind of created a structure, a 12-week structure where.
Okay. Happens.
Okay, we can go now. So we have created like a 12-week structure for students, where we want to have every Sunday we want to go with a training program for them on different domains and subjects, while they are learning with us in the first 4 weeks about market economy, how market economies are, or how token economies are, or how traditional economies are. And it's so amazing that earlier when I started all of this, I was just looking at the tech side of it. But now since EXO happened, Yana is more like clubbing both traditional and tech together and creating like a migration point for everything. And now this migration point needs growing with the structures or the education systems that are there in place. So what my thought is that this crew could be ready in about 8 weeks to 12 weeks of time to cover studies and create papers for us like real time with students in terms of bringing up more data, maybe publishing it in different forums, taking reviews. This is something we should do.
Yeah.
We have a lot we could do together in the economy side too. So let's have a chat.
Yeah, you're definitely thinking right. Okay, so good stuff. Thank you, Pratik. And this, something else interesting is this group here, the EXO Economy Group, has started to serve in a lot of ways as a nexus to various levels of community. And I think that's as it should be. So that's really cool. All right. Anybody else?
I want
Okay.
to suggest something to the developer team. Maybe take a look on the market maker protocols, such as Balancer, TAT5, and also the automated market maker system that are already being used in different ways. Maybe with that background, we can solve the part of the stuff, you know.
Yeah.
And considering the Exos stuff that we were discussing, I think, well, after you are in a Rabbit, you can do whatever you want to do with your token, and you can convert in thousands of tokens, you know. Maybe it's not part of our responsibility to give them some extra usability, you know. The Exos is having a usability. You can stake the Exos. Maybe you don't even need to know, you don't need to stake the Exos, you know. Or maybe we can create another liquidity pool, but my opinion is part of your own decision. You know, you have to make your own choices for your next steps. You know,
I
I'm
think
responsible for that.
Yeah, well, that last part is the key, right? And Najib said something in a way, well, we're the one taking it to the gateway, you know, from the gateway to here is this other thing. And well, in that sort of same vein, we can take things to a certain point, but then the community has to decide to take it the rest of the way, you know, in a way, right? And so how do you, this is an interesting point of inflection for the economy, because you're getting, the community itself is going to get more and more and more capability. I don't mean to call it power, but capability. So you won't necessarily have to ask in a lot of cases, you know, if depending on the situation, and that's not a bad thing, right? So yeah, and as you heard from Kevin earlier, we're continuing to focus, like from a core perspective, and from core treasury, and from a economic core treasury perspective, on things that drive distribution to deserving hands, right? You know, and that is critical, and it's still really, distribution is still one of the most important jobs that we can do, and initial liquidity. But beyond that, it is very much going to be the market's job, if you like, the network's job, to continue to push that forward. And I think what you say is in part about that, Angelo, but not entirely. And then we have to decide, how's that governed? How's that handled? And this is where we start thinking like, and being more like a DAO, because we are a baby DAO. We're just a little baby though, like we're not really particularly fully formed, but that's where we're headed. And it's there's some stuff that's coming, I think, in my opinion, that is astounding. And we just need to kind of keep our heads down, keep our noses to the grindstone, as it were, and just every week just keep making progress, and so many more things will start to unfold. There's some really interesting opportunities beginning to present as a factor of our longevity, our group, the impact. My goodness, the impact that's happening around the world based on the things that we're doing is insane, and honestly still very little known on balance. And so we have to find ways to get that word out more, and that is really hard, so much harder than I thought it was going to be. You know, because you do great things, you think people would want to talk about it, but people mostly want to talk about bad news. It seems to be human nature. So trying to get people to talk about the good news in the world is actually quite hard. So yeah, anyway, I'll stop ranting, but there's lots of good things going, and I'm excited about it. So this was a great update, everybody. Thank you so much for all the work you're doing and sharing. There'll be some follow-on meetings. Najib, I'll follow up with you directly. I know I missed a couple of messages. I saw them later, so I'll get back to you. Okay, and we'll go through that. All right, everybody.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, everyone.
Take care.
Thanks,
Have a great rest of your day.
Bye-bye.
Bye.